This is Mrs. Naslund, and today we'll be doing Unit 11, Lesson 10, Subtract Decimal Numbers. Our learning targets today are, I can align decimal numbers and money amounts correctly in preparation for subtraction. Our second learning target states, I can subtract decimal numbers. So, first off, when we go to start subtracting decimal numbers, it's exactly the same as adding decimal numbers. The trick is we have to line that decimal up before we do it. If you know how to subtract and you know how to line your decimal up, you know how to subtract decimals. Okay? So first I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this number. We have 89 hundredths. So I'm going to go ahead and write 89 hundredths. And then I'm going to say minus, we have 7 tenths. All right, so again, line the decimals up really carefully. And I'm going to add the extra 0 just to make it more clear. And then we just go ahead and subtract. 9 minus 0 is 9. 8 minus 7 is 1. Bring down that decimal. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So the answer to number 1, 89 hundredths minus 7 tenths, is 19 hundredths. Great job. Let's try one more together before we go ahead and try it on our own. All right, so let's go ahead and try number 4 here. We have 6 thousandths minus 35 hundredths, or 35 hundredths. Now we have to decide which one is bigger, because you can't subtract a smaller number from a bigger number. So you need to make sure you look at your place value. I'm looking at the tens, and I have a 0 here and I have a 3 here. So I know that 35 hundredths is the bigger number. So that one has to go first. Just like in subtraction of whole numbers, you always put the bigger number first before the smaller number. Otherwise, you can't subtract it. So I line up my decimals really carefully. I've got 2 zeros and then a 6. All right, I'm going to add another 0 in here. Remember, adding the zeros at the end doesn't change the value. I'm going to hit subtract. Now, this time, I have a problem. I can't do 0 minus 6. So just like regular subtraction, I'm going to borrow. I'm going to cross this 5 out and make it a 4. And then I can make this a 10. Now I can do 10 minus 6, which gives us 4. And now I can do 4 minus 0, which is 4. And 3 minus 0 is 3. And bring down the decimal point. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So we end with 344 thousandths. All right, let's go ahead and have you try a couple on your own. So I want you to look at number 3, and first you have to decide which is the biggest number, and then you have to go ahead and subtract them. Make sure to line up the decimals and add your extra zeros. Go ahead and pause the video and try that. All right, let's see how you did. So I look at my tens place, I have an 8 and a 2. So I know that 837 thousandths is bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and write that. And then I'm going to subtract 2 tenths. Oops, there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in with these zeros just to make it a little bit more clear. I'm going to go ahead and subtract. 7 minus 0 is 7. 3 minus 0 is 3. 8 minus 2 is 6. Bring down the decimal point, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So we end up with 637 thousandths. If you got that, great job. If not, let's practice one more together. All right, go ahead and look at these two numbers. We've got 3 and 56 hundredths and 8 thousandths. So go ahead and decide which number is the biggest and line up your decimals and go ahead and try to subtract. All right, let's see how you did. So we've got 3 and 56 hundredths. And we're going to subtract that from 8 thousandths. It's a very good 8 there, was it? There we go. 8 thousandths. All right. So first we add our 0 up here, and then you can start your subtraction. So 0 minus 8, can't do it. I get to borrow. So I'm going to steal 1 from my 6 and make that a 5. and turn this into a 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. I'm having a hard time writing today. All right, let's write that 2 again. 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 minus 0 again is 5. Bring down that decimal point. And 3 minus 0 is 3. So I end up with 3 and 552 thousandths as our answer. All right, so let's do a word problem together. One more little practice. It says, Rosa has a rope 6 and 5/10 meters long. She cut off a piece that's 1 and 45 hundredths meters long to make a jump rope. How much rope does Rosa have left? So I look for my bigger number. I've got my 6 and 5/10, so I put that first. And then I'm going to subtract my 1 and 45 hundredths. My 45 hundredths. And line them all up. Add my zeros. And go ahead and subtract. 0 minus 5 I can't do. I'm going to make that a 4. Change this to a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down my decimal. And 6 minus 1 is 5. So we end up with 5 and 5 hundredths is how much rope, 5 and 5 hundredths meters, I'd have to label it, is how much rope is left. So today we talked about subtracting decimals, which is very similar to adding decimals. Again, the big trick to remember is to make sure you line up those decimals very carefully. And if you need to borrow when you're subtracting, you have to borrow. Great work. You can go to your homework and remembering.